Hey everybody, and welcome to the latest episode of the Rock and Roll Experience with Mike Brunn. On this episode, I sit down and chat with KISS fan and Vinnie Vincent fan Jeff Germait, and he'll share with us all the exciting information about Vinnie Vincent's latest Let Freedom Rock Bash, which took place in Nashville, Tennessee on October 17th and 18th, 2020. Jeff will share with us all the details of what happened that weekend, and I think you guys are going to really enjoy it. I'd like to say thanks to Jeff for taking the time to sit and chat with me and give us all the information about this great party. If you're watching on YouTube, hit that subscribe button below. If you're listening to one of my podcasts, subscribe over there as well. Also, head on over to Facebook and follow my page, The Rock and Roll Experience with Mike Brunn, where each and every day we talk about all the rock and roll music that you love. Now, without further ado, let's jump in and get started with my conversation with KISS fan and Vinnie Vincent fan, Jeff Germait.
Hey, good evening. How you doing, Mike? Thanks for having me.
No, I'm so excited to have you, and I know myself and a lot of fans are excited to hear about the event this past weekend. It was the Let Freedom Rock event. But before we get into that, I'd love for you to just maybe share a little bit of your backstory. When did you become a KISS fan, and how did you get into KISS, and how did you get into Vinnie Vincent?
Okay, wow. Yeah, so let's see. I was actually about 12 years old. My father had just passed away. You know, when you're 12 years old, you're a young kid, you're kind of trying to find yourself, figuring out who you're going to be as you're coming into those teenage years.
Sure.
And I just figured KISS, you know, that was where it was at. I knew rock and roll was what I loved. And as I kind of looked at the landscape, I just thought, you know, they were out of the makeup at the time. And it was really kind of a down time for them, but I knew that they had all this history. So I just started picking all the stuff up, and I thought, I'm going to be that guy. I'm going to be, you know, at school, you know, you always had that KISS guy, you know, and I kind of thought I had the jean jacket with the Destroyer back patch on it, you know, the whole bit. And, but I always just gravitated towards Vinnie. I mean, right away, it was like, I mean, you know, his playing is so different than any of the other members. His writing is so different than any other members, and I don't know. That was just kind of where I gravitated because I mean, really at that time, right after my father had passed, I remember picking up a issue of Metal Edge magazine. I don't know if you remember that one from back.
Yes. Oh, very well. Yeah.
But it had that ad. Member of the KISS Army goes AWOL, and whole story. They had the big V on there or whatever. I was like, holy cow, you know, I had no idea. And so I went out and I bought that thing right away. I rip it open. I see the cassette with, you know, the duet with, you know, For Back on the Streets. And I just, man, that was it. That was it. I was so
Nice.
first record, man. I was like, wow.
Nice. So when was the first time you saw KISS in concert?
First time I saw KISS in concert was the Crazy Nights tour.
Yep.
And so what was that? They had Ted Nugent opening, and that was at the Mecca Arena here in Milwaukee. Again, I was about, I think, you know, 12, 13 years old, something like that at the time. It was my first solo concert. Me and a friend, you know, went there. The building seemed so big, you know, but you go in there now and it looks like a high school arena. It's like where the UWM Panthers play. So it's you know, it's a nice building, but it's very small. But it was good. It was yeah. So that was the first time. Crazy.
Absolutely. So then you were also a Vinnie Vincent fan during the 80s. I'm going to assume, maybe wrongly so, you didn't get to see him in the 80s in concert, right? Yeah,
me neither.
Me neither.
No, when I was so I was born and raised up in Green Bay, Wisconsin, and when I was I don't know 12, 13, we moved down to Milwaukee, Wisconsin, which was great for the music scene because, you know, lots of big bands came down here. Never really saw too much of that up there, but you know, that was kind of the thing. I never got to see Vinnie, but I do remember hearing on the radio at it wasn't an all ages show though, but they you know, they were playing Vinnie Vincent Invasion. I heard it on the radio, and I just, man, every time I heard that commercial, Tonight Only, and I was man, I wanted to get there. Just couldn't do it, man. So I never ever, before the birthday bash, I never saw him play live ever.
Right.
I mean, I saw him, like, you know, on videos and stuff like that. It's not the same, you know.
Absolutely. No, look, I'm very lucky. At 13 years old, I was able to see KISS on the Lick It Up tour, and my dad took me. I was at Radio City Music Hall in New York. So for me, that was my one and only time I had ever seen Vinnie before the recent events that we'll get into talking about in a moment. So to me, it's kind of cool. And, you know, then we know as fans, Vinnie kind of disappeared for 20 something years. During that time, were you still a Vinnie fan, or did you get into maybe some of the grunge thing and the other? What were you thinking?
Like, you know, I've got a very wide music selection of things that I like. You know, unfortunately, I don't know anybody thought their country really is the only thing I'm not big on.
Okay.
But I can listen to a little bit of everything else.
Hmm.
Um, Rock and roll is always kind of where it's at. I can even, you know, I go to a lot of these concerts in the club with my kids, you know, to these,
Hmm. Nice.
you know, Avenged Sevenfold and, you know,
Nice.
that fun stuff like that. I mean,
Hmm.
I just love live music. I really just love
That's
live.
awesome.
So, yeah, but I stayed a Vinnie fan through the whole thing. You know, I had the cassettes, wore those out when we moved on to CDs. I had those, you know, and yeah, that was always the top of my list, man. It was
Hmm.
always he's always my guy.
Absolutely. Now, were you fortunate enough to be in Atlanta when he did come back and be in the public eye?
No, I was not
Mm-hmm.
actually. You know, I live up here in Wisconsin.
Yep.
I did have a little bit of a heads up. You know, I saw that it was kind of coming. I don't even remember if it was on YouTube or if it was, you know, on one of the Facebook sites or something at the time. But um, I was like, really? Holy cow!
Right.
Really, this is holy cow! Like I didn't
Hmm.
know it was happening until that weekend that it was happening.
Okay.
And so then I was on, and you know, people were posting the interviews and stuff. I
Sure.
was like, oh my god,
Right.
oh my
He's
gosh,
back.
you know, just like holy cow.
Right.
And
Right.
yeah, just wow, it was amazing. And then to have Robert there too, it was like holy cow. It
Yeah.
was
Yeah, I was fortunate. I was at that, and I was in the front row. And when Robert came up on stage, literally, I had like goosebumps on me because I could see him from the side, like standing on the side of the stage, thinking about coming up. And then he comes up, and they're doing Back on the Streets, and just the goosebumps. That was such an incredible
wow,
moment to me.
that is boy,
Yeah,
that's an amazing thing, you
yeah,
know.
yeah. Oh,
As I
absolutely.
found out just recently, I guess Robert has moved to Wisconsin somewhere here. I
Oh,
think
really? Okay.
in the Racine Kenosha area, and
Hmm.
I think he opened up an art gallery. So at some
Yep.
point, I guess I'm hoping to go and check that out. So about 40
Awesome.
minutes away from where I'm at. So
Awesome. Awesome.
yeah,
Hopefully you'll get a chance to do that.
yeah,
So then I guess it's what, about a little over a year ago, Vinny announces he's going to be doing these first one of these like birthday events that he's doing.
yeah.
And I think we were talking before and you were kind of not even sure if you were going to go, right? So talk
Yep.
about that first event, right? I think you ultimately did go, but talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, it was a whirlwind, man. It was so coming into it, wasn't sure if I was going to be able to make it to the event or not. I mean, literally, I think it was about a month and a half before is when I found out there might be a slight chance I might be able to figure it out, you know,
Hmm.
some way, somehow, just maybe. And I don't know if I should say this, but the thing of it is, we do a lot of work in Nashville,
Hmm.
and we had a lot of big projects going on there at the time. And I thought, well, you know, with what I do, it would be good to stop in, make customer visits, and you know, stop in and say, hey. And it was an opportunity for me to get to Nashville some way,
Okay.
somehow.
Hmm.
And you know, my wife, being the wonderful person that she is, basically just said, if you can get your way to Nashville, I'll cover this thing for you, you know. And so I
Nice.
was like, I was on, you know, with Wilkie almost instantly, and
Hmm.
you know, we kind of booked the thing up, and then he and I started messaging, you know, and kind of got to know each other a little bit. And
Hmm.
I don't know, over the next week or so, I started asking him some things. You know, I was like, well, what kind of, you know, memorabilia stuff does, you know, Vinny have on the side? And he's like, well, you know, he's got some of this, some of that. What are you looking for? And I said, well, really, what I'm looking for is the ankh necklaces. You know,
Hmm.
anybody ever made those? Has anybody ever sold those? You know, I mean, does he have any of those available? I don't know how
Hmm.
many he had. I was kind of always under the impression that like when he wore them, that he was like throwing them out, you know, in the crowd like a target,
Okay.
you
Hmm.
know, at
Right.
the end of the show
Interesting.
or something like that. I didn't know because I wasn't
Sure.
ever able to go to those shows. But
Hmm.
um, come to find out, nope, there was only ever one or two. I think I'm pretty sure it was two.
Hmm.
And so Steven's like, yeah, no, you know, a lot of people have talked about it. They've come, you know, taking a stab at it, whatever. It just never worked out, and nobody's ever done it. And I was like,
Hmm.
well, you know, with what I do, I'm a CAD draftsman initially, product engineer kind of thing. I said, I
Okay.
bet you I could figure out how to get this done if it's something that you know he'd be interested in.
Hmm.
And you know, must have piqued his interest because he says, well, really, he says, why don't you go and get some numbers, see you know what we can do here, and next thing you know, we kind of started going back and forth and back and forth. And
Hmm.
but so the whole time that this was leading up, you know, there was I know a lot of people were questioning whether or not that event was going to happen. I mean, there was a lot of kind of anxiety leading up to that event.
Absolutely. Hmm.
And so, you know, I was like, I'm pretty sure this is going to happen. You know, I was pretty sure that that whole month leading up, you know, and man, I kind of worked my tail off. I didn't think I was going to be able to get them ready in time for that. It
Mm-hmm.
was kind of like that's what I was really shooting for.
Mm-hmm.
And everything just fell together so perfectly. All of the vendors that I worked with, God bless them, you know, they
Mm-hmm.
performed so good, and man, they just everything turned out beautifully.
Mm-hmm.
And I went into the airport with those things in my arm. You know, I kind of taped the box closed. I went in and I talked to security first, and I said, "Look, I want to bring this thing on, and it's a whole bunch of these necklaces, and you know,
Mm-hmm.
they're all in these boxes, and it's, you know, am I going to have a problem with this?" And they said, "Nope, not because you talked to us." And
Okay, nice.
okay, so let me walk through, and that was my carry-on, and I held it with me the whole time because, you know, I just want to make sure we got them there safe. So
Mm-hmm. That's such a great story because if I'm understanding it right, you went over a 6 week period not going to the first event to suddenly making his ankh necklace, as we could see over your shoulder there, and you're the guy creating it, who was, I'll say, just a fan, and I mean that in a complimentary way, right?
absolutely,
But you were
absolutely.
you were just a fan who wasn't going, and then 6 weeks later, you're in like a business transaction with the guy making ankh necklaces for him. I think that's damn cool to me.
It was absolutely the most whirlwind month of my life,
Mm-hmm.
because in addition to that going on, I mean, we had some really crazy stuff going on at work. So I mean, they really, I was putting in crazy hours at work at the time, but
Mm-hmm.
this was like, you know, this was a
Mm-hmm.
once in a lifetime opportunity the way I saw it. And
Right.
um, I kind of hemmed and hawed like for a second, like, cause I've never really done anything. I've never done anything like this really, you
Sure.
know, and I
Mm-hmm.
thought, I can do this. I know I can do this,
Mm-hmm.
and I know I can do it well. And so we just, you know, we did it. And thankfully, you know, Vinny was really, really happy with him, I think. So,
Absolutely. No, and look, I've seen them in person and they look great. And I'll say you did an amazing job on that. I would, never know that that's something a fan made in relationship to the first event that was under the gun, like you said, no pun intended with the kiss
no,
together
no.
there.
Hey,
It's
no, I
just,
know industry, man, and that's it. Normally, you'd be hard pressed to get a good prototype in four
yeah,
to 6 weeks, you know.
yeah.
And the thing of it was, like I said, in working with a lot of the people to kind of get everything in order, there you got setup fees and all their, you know, kind of stuff, and
Mhm.
the whole prototype thing wasn't really the way to go. And so it was either an all or nothing thing. We rolled the
Yep.
dice and just went for it.
Well,
So
you did an amazing job. So, Jeff, I think one of the things to me that I think is cool when we talk about your fandom is you actually, and I think, correct me if I'm wrong, you would tell me you have some tattoos, but it was even, you got these tattoos before you ever went to one of the birthday bashes or anything. Is that correct?
yeah. So I started off with last year, January, I think it was last year, March, I'm sorry. I went and I got a tattoo of the ankh on my foot.
Nice.
Just, you know, right on top of my foot. I've had some issues with that kind of medically, and I thought, man, I could really use something to look over this foot, and that's the symbol that's going to do it.
Mm,
And so I put it on there. And as the year went on, you know, next thing you know, we found out, like I said, about 6 weeks before the birthday bash in August that, you know, I was going to go. And then as the weeks went on, and I actually made the onks, you know, so that was
hmm
like, holy cow. So I had another appointment this March to get another tattoo. And I was going to put something on my left foot, thinking,
hmm
you know, balance things out. Well, wouldn't you know, 3 days before my appointment, the wheels came off the world and COVID hit and
hmm
tattoo shops closed down. Well, it wasn't until just recently I got my call and I was able to go in. I went and I talked to the design there for, talked to the design of what I was hoping for with my artist.
hmm
And man, when I got in there, she had this design, and I was like, I can't put that thing on my foot. That thing is just too cool.
hmm
So I took it and I moved it up on the back of my calf, and then kind of at the same time, because I had done the ankh on my foot, I put a little ring up at the top of it, and you know, put a little number on there and a little symbol for the security system that we put on there on the stamp on the bottom. So
hmm
now, whether I'm actually wearing it around my neck or not, I always have my number 27 ankh on me. So do a little update there. But
That is
yeah,
that
Vinny
is
thought
so
those were
awesome.
pretty cool too.
Oh, absolutely. And like you said, that was actually before we were just talking about the fact that you created the ankh necklace, right? But that was
Yep,
actually before you did that, right?
yep, yep. I had the one on my foot before we even thought about it. You know, I mean, I'd always just kind of been out there looking for them, and then
hmm
after I had done that, it just kind of got the idea to kind of update it a little bit to, you know, make it more like the ones we made. So
That's
that was pretty
awesome.
cool, man. It was such a cool experience, and now something I'll cherish forever, and something I'll be wearing forever.
That's
Proud to
very
wear
cool.
forever. absolutely.
Very cool, very awesome. And then, before we get to the event at hand from this past weekend, I know I was talking with you and I was like, I've only been to one of the four events, and unfortunately, the one event I was at was the one that you aren't at, right? So you've been
Yep,
to
yep,
this weekend was your
exactly.
third event. So this is actually the first time we're meeting, unfortunately, through a Zoom like this. But you've been at three of the four events. Most recently, this one this weekend, which was called Let Freedom Rock. Right now,
Yep,
I've had the experience of being there. I know what it's like. But for fans who weren't there, right? You go the first day is usually, I know that everybody gathers in the hallway over there, and then you're brought
yep.
into Vinnie. Was it set up in a similar fashion this go around?
No, it was actually very different. I think
Really? Okay.
like with everything else, the COVID, that was always a big concern for
Mm-hmm.
everybody and everything.
Sure.
Um, I'm not sure if you were aware, but they were filming a live DVD throughout the weekend. They just a release to say, hey, we're going to be filming this, DVD for this event, and
Mm-hmm.
you know, just signing off to be in it, basically.
Sure.
And so,
Which I think is common practice for things like
yeah,
this. So.
yeah, absolutely, no big deal. And
Mm-hmm.
that was great. We were all kind of gathered up in the front, and then we were talking to Steven and their new head of security there. Oh man, his name is slipping me right now. Is it Tony or Mike or Tony? I'll have to look. I got it written down
Okay.
somewhere.
Okay.
Yeah, he's a really, 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 really good guy. And
Mm-hmm.
anyway, so they're hanging out there talking to us and kind of getting us ready to go back there and kind of giving us some ideas. They're not really saying anything though. They're just like, you guys are going to be blown away. You're going to see stuff you've never seen. And
Mm-hmm.
we're like, okay. So then actually Vinny came out beforehand, and he came out and greeted everybody. And the thing that I'm always amazed by was, I introduced myself to Vinny one time, and he's known my name ever since.
It's
And
amazing.
I mean, he knew my name before I got there, actually, because obviously with the ankhs and stuff, but I don't have my picture out on Facebook there. I just got my little symbol with the
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Joker stuff. So, well, I guess I do have some pictures probably out. I don't know, but anyway, it was
Mm-hmm.
he had no idea probably what I looked like at the time. So I
Mm-hmm.
mean, it was just pretty cool. I was the guy with the big box of ankhs.
Right. Mm-hmm. No,
But
yeah, I'll pause you there for 30 seconds. I could totally relate because I had met Vinny twice before the story I'm about to tell you. Once in Atlanta with 1,000 other people. There's no
sure,
way he could remember who I am out of 1,000 people. I'm a bald-in, middle-aged guy, just like half of America, right? So there's nothing that's distinguishable about me. And then the second time was at the Vinnie Vincent, the Gene Simmons Vault, where Vinnie Vincent was there, right?
oh,
And
okay.
so that was it. I just met him those two times. Well, fast forward 6 months later, I'm in Miami for the KISS Cruise, the Cruise
Hmm.
Fest party, and I'm online to meet him. And I enter the room, and he stops and he points to me from across the room. Mike from New York, how you doing? And I was like, how do you know that? How do you know? I've spoke to you for maybe 10 minutes or less in my life, and I'm in a room with hundreds of other people, and I walk in and you're like, Mike from New York. I'm just like, I was blown away. So it's to
Yeah.
your point, I'm sorry to cut you off, but
No, not at all.
it's amazing how he remembers the people he meets like that. It's
Absolutely.
amazing. I've never seen anybody else be like that ever.
No. And it was throughout the first night exactly like that. I was blown away.
Mm-hmm.
When I came back then for the Valentine's Day thing in February, I mean, it was exactly the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Walked up to the stage. I don't know, you've probably done things on, that event, but
Mm-hmm.
we came up to the stage and he's up there playing, and he's, kind of mouthing
Mm-hmm.
close to everybody like, hey, Jeff, thanks
Mm-hmm.
for coming.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I mean, it was like, holy cow, this is, so surreal.
Absolutely.
Um,
Absolutely.
so yeah, so this was a little bit different, because like I say, they were doing, I think getting ready for this DVD, and as we got started, we kind of all did this rush into the room. It was a
Mm-hmm.
different room than we were in last time,
Okay.
much bigger room.
Mm. Okay.
Um, yeah, I can't honestly, I don't know how many. It was I know it was sold to capacity. The thing was sold out. I knew a couple of fans, in the area here that wanted to go and couldn't go because they couldn't get tickets. Contacted Steven looking for cancellations. Anybody
Mm-hmm.
who had tickets was going to this thing, and
Sure.
so
Mm-hmm.
we go rushing into this room, and that was when the show started. And so the first day, the theme of music was Vinnie Vincent invasion songs.
Mm.
Um, I will say he definitely played live as he always does. There's absolutely no doubt about that.
Mm-hmm.
I will say that he had a band. I cannot mention any of the members of said band. But I can say it was absolutely incredible. Okay. Unbelievable. So day one was Vinnie Vincent Invasion songs. I think he did about a half a dozen of them, maybe. Some of the favorites, Boys Are Gonna Rock. That was where we started. Just amazing. We got to hear Animal. And I Twisted. I think I'll probably leave it at that for the Vinnie stuff. Again, I might have said too much, but I know that those Animal and Twisted, those are some of people's favorite jams. I mean, those things really, really bring it. And God, the solos he brought to those songs, man. I don't even, I don't even know how to describe it other than, like I say, I've been to all 3 shows. His fingers look like hummingbird wings. It's the only way I can describe it. He's getting into these solos and he's doing his thing and he's just smiling and laughing and having a good time. It was, oh man, it was, and you're like, he's right here and he's, it was crazy, man.
Well, crazy. It's funny because you touched on a few things. I remember when I went to the Christmas party, you said just now who's playing live, and I remember that was the first thing because I hadn't been to the other parties, and some people were saying, online, different chat rooms or whatever, oh, he's probably playing to a track. So that was the first thing I tried to pay attention to, and because I was standing 3 feet away from him, like you said, and I'm watching his hands. I'm like, that's impossible. You can't play to a track. He's stopping, he's starting, he's stopping, he's stopping. It would be impossible. So it's 100% live. But when I saw him, it was all, and I'm not, even though I have guitars on the wall, I don't play. They're all for decoration. Okay. But people were like, is he playing scales? I don't know. He was just playing 1,000 notes a minute. Right? That's what, all over the fretboard. Right. So now you're saying this was
incredible. It sounded like it made sense, right? I mean,
it sounded like it makes sense to me. And it was, guitar playing, I'm going to say like I haven't seen before. And I don't get into, was it better than he was in the 80s? Whatever. It was great guitar playing. That's all I know. But it sounds like this party, it was great guitar playing, but it was also a little bit more structured around him doing some songs, like you said.
Oh, absolutely. And that was, for me, I mean, that was maybe for everybody there, that was the most exciting part of it because it was like, I never got to see Invasion perform ever.
Sure.
I never got to see him with KISS or anything like that. I just never got to see him perform. And the other ones we've done, he has done some amazing shredding. I mean, it has just been some crazy stuff. But like I say, these were the actual songs. He played the actual solos in the song. I mean, I know these. I knew that whole, first 2 albums. I knew that stuff note for note in my head. I played it so many times, front to back, upside down, left to right.
Right.
And he played every single notes of those solos and then some, like they were expanded solos. And so that was really it. I mean, it was that, I don't know. With live music, you can tell, right? I mean,
of course.
It's a different feel, it's a different vibe. You can see it. And, you're like, you're right there. You're right there.
Oh,
and I will say I'm a big dude. I'm like, I don't know, 6'4", 6'5", something like that. So we all kind of, got in there and I stepped to the side a little bit and kind of stepped to the back and made sure, because I can stand in the back of almost any room and still see very, very well. And I had seen it a number of times and I still, I was able to kind of get into a position where I wasn't blocking anybody and just see amazing. It was incredible. I'm still on cloud 9. I really am.
Oh my God, that sounds so different than what I saw in December. And, that's, if you see some of the criticisms people have online, they're like, oh, he's just doing the same thing over and over and over. Well, it sounds like this one was absolutely nowhere near anything else that he had done previously.
No, this was, this was just on a whole nother level. I don't know how to say it. Again, I don't really know how many people were there, but out of the 3 events, there was more people at this one than any of the other ones.
Interesting.
To that.
Interesting.
The room was bigger than in, because they were at, limited capacity due to the, whatever the mayor had a thing. I don't know. They have limited capacity, whatever. And so they had, the limit of what they could do. But man, what a hoot. So,
awesome.
Okay. So after, let's see, after he played, like I say, about roughly half dozen songs, and he's like, all right, well, let's take a break. Let's get some food and let's talk a little bit. Let's just hang out, and having been to one of those events, they tend to be pretty loose overall.
Absolutely.
And now with this having been my 3rd event, and just you get to know these people, and to be able to meet him in these events, you know, I mean, there were so many people I met there that I had met at previous events,
Mm-hmm.
and there were so many people there that I met that I've never met before.
Sure.
And you know, maybe, I don't know, people might think that it's kind of weird. I went by myself, you know, it's not really
Mm-hmm.
my wife's thing or whatever. Um, but I mean, not at all. I just, you know, it's all family there. That's the
Mm-hmm.
way that we look at it. And we,
Absolutely.
you know, there was a bunch of new people there that we had that were there by themselves, and you could tell they felt a little bit maybe out of place at first and kind of
Mm-hmm.
standing off on the side. And it's just, hey, grab a chair, you know, get in
Sure.
here, shoot the breeze. Where you from? What you doing?
Mm-hmm.
And to tell you, I'm not really a network and social kind of guy at all, but
Mm-hmm.
I kind of forced myself to be at that party because, you know,
Mm-hmm.
it's just that's what it's all about, man. Like-minded
Absolutely.
people, and we're all there for the same thing. So
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Absolutely. So now on the first day, did he do like a Q&A at all? Pictures? What, he performed?
yeah.
What else was there?
So yeah, after we ate, he you know, he was kind of mingling around like he does, you know, in kind of little groups, and you could get into the discussion there if you wanted, or you could
Mm-hmm.
kind of go have discussions with other people, or you could go look at they had a merchandise table set up
Sure.
there.
Mm-hmm.
um, you know, it was and then yeah, like right towards the end, we did an autograph session and pictures
Okay, nice.
that
Nice.
they had. Yeah, so it was, you know, pretty much anything that you picked up there, or whatever you could, you know, pay to have your stuff signed or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Took
Yep.
care of everybody, and same deal with pictures. Took care of everybody, made sure everybody had what they wanted, what they needed. Uh, kind of gave us a slight heads up of what was coming the next day.
Mm-hmm.
I think everybody kind of, you know, anybody who knows anything about these events knows what kind of happens on day two. And
Mm-hmm.
with the theme of what this event was to be, it kind of, you know, got our juices flowing too, and kind of got everybody thinking about, okay, so this is what happened on day one. What's going to
Mm-hmm.
happen on day two? And so
Mm-hmm.
that was kind of how it wound down. We didn't really do, I guess, a formal Q&A, but
Okay.
there was an awful lot of like social and mingling time. And,
Right.
um, you know, all indications, I don't know anybody that was there that by the end of the night, you know, was feeling out of place or felt, you know, lonely or
That's
didn't feel
awesome.
included, you know,
Mm-hmm.
with the deal. Cause, I don't know, it's just it's a really great group of people. It really is, you know, and
Absolutely.
the people at SIR too, kudos to them. They,
Agreed.
over and above, anytime anybody need anything, extra chairs, you know, keeping everything separate for us.
Mm-hmm.
They did a great job with the food. I'll say that too, keeping
Mm-hmm.
everything separate and kind of
Nice.
isolated. So, you know,
Mm-hmm.
it wasn't everybody grabbing in the same, you know, dishes and bowls and
Sure.
whatever. It
Oh,
was very,
nice. Okay.
yeah, absolutely. Very
Awesome.
conscious, for the times, man. It was, I think everybody felt safe. I think it was great. You know, it
That's
was,
awesome. Now, the first day, because we've seen some pictures kind of leak out that people took with him that was in makeup, but the first day, was he out of makeup for the first day?
he was,
Okay,
yeah.
that's what
Like
I
I
figured.
say, the first day was an invasion themed day.
Yep. Makes sense.
And that was kind of what it was going for.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't sure, you know, if this was because they had the I think it was the birthday bash 2.0 was originally scheduled for
Mm-hmm.
August, and that was supposed to be like a Vinnie Vincent invasion show,
Mm-hmm.
and then, you know, it kind of got delayed because, you know, the world crashed.
Mm-hmm.
And so I didn't know if this was like that just happening later, or if this was
Mm-hmm.
just going to be something else. But, you know,
Mm-hmm.
whatever, man. It was.
Right, 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 right.
So I don't know if that's what they intended it to be, but that's kind of what it felt like to me. That
Well,
was,
to me, that sounds really cool. And having never seen the invasion, it sounds to me like a cool idea.
yeah.
And you've already spoken about the fact that it was being filmed. So I'll say I'm the first ones to be excited to see what that looks like. And I'm hoping, did he say when he would release it at all? Or is that kind of just up in the air right now?
I think it's up in the air. You know, I'm sure they'll have to go through it and do some editing, and
Mm-hmm.
because yeah, I think they were doing interviews with people, you know, one on
Okay.
one and
Mm-hmm.
stuff, and kind of talking about things, and
Nice.
zooming in on some of the conversations, you know, that were being had and the
Mm-hmm.
mingling. I mean, it was a pretty cool deal, but at the same time, to be honest with you, I don't know how much or how little they were filming or how many, because
Mm-hmm.
they were really discreet about it, and they did a good job of not making it a spectacle. You know what I mean? It was
Sure.
yeah, it was cool. So, you know, that was cool. There will probably be a lot of times maybe I'll be on camera. I had no idea.
Right. Of course. Oh,
Yeah,
absolutely.
but
Now, was it multiple cameras? Was it one? Do you know? Did you even pay
I
attention
have
to?
no idea. I
Okay.
wasn't even paying attention.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
was just
I,
curious.
yeah. I can tell you though, I'm excited.
Yeah,
I'm
I am too.
excited for this DVD to come out. That's that's really gonna be something, man. It's I can tell you kind of prior to this, of all the concerts that I've been to a lot of different concerts, and this may sound kind of crazy, but I took my kids to a Matchbox 20 concert, that's Morissette or something, and they had this deal. They gave away a USB, not gave away, you had to buy it. It was a USB bracelet, but it had your concert on it. Like they
Yes.
recorded it and they chopped up the songs, and they, you know, you got the whole song list, and it was your show. Wow, how cool is that? This is kind of, I think, the same deal. This is like a documentary of that weekend. It's a beautiful.
That's awesome. That's
yeah.
awesome. Then the second day was not really a Let Freedom Rock thing. It was more, I think, a tribute to Eric Carr, if I've heard correctly. And from what I hear, it was a very emotional thing for the fans.
Yeah, absolutely it was. Boy, I just got goosebumps even thinking about it, man. It was, so Vinnie was in makeup. He did play again live, live and loud with a band again.
Bands again.
Yes. I can say probably that focused on KISS tunes, you know, because obviously he was in makeup and jamming. I can say he did, let's see, what can I say he did? I'll say he did I Love It Loud. That was a hoot. Everybody was into that. He did Lick It Up, which probably wouldn't be a big surprise.
Nope, I don't think so.
And I can tell you, I'll tell you, he did a song that he said that he's never performed live before. I'm not going to say what it is because that's a perfect secret. That's a perfect little carryover. But that was absolutely incredible. What else did I do? Creatures of the Night. I'll leave it at that.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah.
That sounds awesome.
Now,
was he filming the second day also?
I believe so. Yeah, I believe so. Yeah,
Okay, nice.
I think it was the whole, you know,
whole weekend. Nice.
Yeah, so I think so. Yeah. And I can say it was a different band than the first day.
Okay.
Yes, and I'll leave it at that. So then after that, again, probably, I don't know, half dozen songs or so, something like that. And then we went on to eating. The first day was mainly Italian food, like it was like pizza and sandwiches and breads and stuff like that. Second day was Mexican food, tacos and burritos and stuff like that. And again, as we're eating, you know, everybody's kind of just breaking into pockets and talking to each other. I feel like I introduced myself to everybody there at some point. Now, I'm terrible with names, but I know, you know, you see some of these faces on the in the groups and, you know, online and whatever. And so it was really, really cool to get to know some of these people in person. And I can tell you, this, again, being the third event that I've gone to, you get home each night from those events and you go look for all those people that you met and you try to friend them right away so that, you know, you just don't forget. Because these things are like a time capsule, man. It's like a man, I don't know. You just don't know. You just never know from day to day. I mean, the whole world is falling apart around us here.
Absolutely.
This is as closest to any kind of live music thing that I've been able to do since, you know. I've had tickets to other concerts that were canceled, obviously, tours that were pushed and whatever. And so anyway, so that was cool. But it didn't stop there with the performances.
Okay.
I can say that after we got done eating, he did some acoustic performances. He took out an acoustic guitar and basically did by request.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. That was awesome.
Wow. That sounds awesome. I'm like, damn, I missed a good one.
And he hit very, very special and obscure songs, things that are talked about a lot in the group. He did sing Happy Birthday to the captain, Roger Garrison.
Roger, nice.
Yep. So that was great. Bless his heart for that. That was awesome. We all kind of sang for that. It was, that was fun. But so I'll leave it at that as far as those.
And look, so to me, it sounds like over the 2 days, there was 3 different performances.
Yes.
He was doing full songs, and it sounds like it was anywhere from, let me think, 6 times 3, like about 18 to 20 songs, probably.
I would say yes, that's right on. Yeah, and it was unbelievable. The acoustic thing, he did not play with the band. That was just him playing around and talking, a little Q&A, you know, and then asking for requests. It was that was so special. And then again, they did autographs and pictures and, you know, same kind of deal. But this time it was in the aunt makeup. So And everybody, I don't know anybody really that was dissatisfied coming out of there.
Mm-hmm.
It was so cool. It was so cool.
It sounds it. And you know what? One of the things, and I'm sure you see it online some places as well, people are very critical. Well, of course, the people who are there are going to praise it and say it was the greatest thing and have fun, right? And my position on that is, well, isn't that what life's about? Right? When you spend your money, whether it's you,
Yeah.
me, or anybody else, right? I openly say this, the events are not for everybody. And I openly admit that. No different than the Gene Simmons Vault events were not for everybody. And I saw nothing wrong with that, right? I understand that. To me, for the price point of an event, 2 days, in this case, 3 performances, getting to hang out in a small, intimate setting, you're being fed, you're getting a lot. To me, it's worth every penny, right? You go to a regular concert and you're sitting up in the bleachers somewhere and you're paying $1.50 for a concert these days. So in my opinion, to have a small, intimate setting like this, it's worth every penny, in my opinion. But I get it's not for everybody.
His performances, literally, and again, I'm not a guitar person, but I can definitely tell you without a doubt, just being a music person, his performances got very much cleaner and longer, definitely longer, each and every time. It was just better and better. And he was on fire. It was crazy. It was crazy. And
That's amazing.
It was.
Yeah, and you're saying that, and I'm like, all right, well, I was just there in December and I thought the playing was excellent, right? And you're saying it's even better. And I guess to me, what would make it better is it is full songs. It is.
Yeah, well, that's exactly it. It was all songs that I knew,
Right.
Solos are great and shredding is great. And I absolutely love that stuff, man. I really do, because that's the era. That's what it's all about. The big air and stuff like that. I just, these were the songs that I grew up with, man. And so I, got choked up a couple times. It was just, it was an unforgettable experience. There's just no other way to put it. Yeah, it was the best. I would say every fan there probably got some alone time with Vinnie, where you got, some one-on-one time to just kind of sit there and talk and get caught up. And again, he remembers who you are and makes you feel very special. I'll tell you that. I've done a number of different meet and greets with other bands, and I can tell you, like you said, for the price point, for what you get, I haven't ever been to another event like this ever with any other musician or NASCAR drivers or other, nothing. There's nothing like this. And so if, more of these events pop up, I would highly, highly encourage anybody that gets the opportunity to get out there. Because I was able to make that first one happen just because of a, work thing, and I made it happen and got real lucky. These last two I made happen just because I was going, and, I told my work, hey, if you need something while I'm out there, I'll do it. But I'm going to these things, man. I'm not going to miss it. So
that's awesome. That's awesome. Did he make any mention of doing another one of these anytime soon?
I don't know if that's official or not. I probably shouldn't say anything, but yeah, I think they are looking for something, probably at the first part of next year sometime.
Good. Excellent. Yep. And like you said, I'm sure he'll make an official announcement. Yeah. And having been to one myself, I strongly encourage. It sounds like it's definitely gotten even better. And I had a lot of fun back in December, but this sounds like, I was going to say, it kind of blew away December. I'm like, damn, I picked the wrong one to go to.
No, I mean, it's so hard to say, right? Because I mean, I went to the birthday bash with so many of these other people, the very first one, and that's the first time we got to hear him shred, right? And it was like, that was so special in its own right, because nobody had heard him play like that. Nobody thought he could play like that.
Agreed.
And like you said, there were so many naysayers out there at the time that said he can't. There's no possible way at his age that he could play like that. I'm here to tell you, wait till his DVD comes out, man. Holy shit.
Right. Yep. No. Look at it.
Holy shit. It was crazy, man. It was unbelievable. Yep. And I'm so excited. I'm so happy for him. And, I want to just thank him and Steve Wilkie and the rest of his team there. I mean, it was, and everybody at SIR again, it was just the most amazing time ever. It really was.
It sounds like it, and you did a great job, I think, kind of painting the picture for us of what it was like. One last thing I'm thinking of, I know in December when I went, the room was like, I'll say decorated with all different like Vinnie artifacts from all different times of his life. Was it like that again this go around?
No, so this was a little bit different. Like I say, the room was bigger. I'm sure, I think at the Christmas, if I remember one, they had one of those big banners there.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Well, at this one, they had 4 big banners across the back and a couple of the KISS signs, 5 big banners across the back. I think a couple of the KISS signs, hanging up on the wall. And, he had these new T-shirts there. He was selling in 4-packs. That was kind of cool because if you bought a 4-pack of T-shirts, then they gave you a little extra thing there. So that was cool.
Nice.
Okay. It was a little added bonus, I guess. Maybe I shouldn't have said that either, but whatever.
I'm sure that's
everybody
cool.
that was there got it. It was the same deal. So if you bought
right.
T-shirts, you got the little guitar pick pack with it. It was a little bonus thing. It was pretty fun. But,
yep. And I've seen people post online when they purchase things from him through the internet that he's been generous in the past to people, throwing in something extra, a handwritten note, whatever it is. So that's not unusual that he would do something like that either.
No, not at all. And that was it. Anybody who was getting anything signed, what do you want me to sign? Where do you want me to sign it? You want it like this, like that, up here, over there, big or small? I mean, it was, and the other thing I guess I want to mention is I want to thank everybody else that was at the event because they're so respectful. You know what I mean? When people are having their time and having their chat or whatever, you didn't have the feeling, and this kind of started at the birthday bash. I'm not sure how the Christmas deal was, but it was the same at the one in February as well. I never felt like when I was taking my time with them that there was ever anybody like looking over my shoulder or trying to crowd in. It was like everybody kind of gave you your space, and they weren't trying to crowd him and like hog him the whole time. Everybody was fair, and just some really great people coming out to these events. Highly recommend it if you get the chance. I mean, I know it seems like a lot, and it's a tough travel maybe to get to Nashville from wherever you might be, but I am from Wisconsin, and I'm figuring it out somehow here. I don't know.
Absolutely.
Make it happen somehow.
Right. If you want to do it, now's the time, because I always say none of us are getting any younger. Vinny's not getting any younger. Right. And who knows how many more of these types of events there will be. So like you said, if there's somebody who's on the fence, I can't imagine that this doesn't put them over the fence. It's making me say I want to go a second time. Yeah,
absolutely.
Awesome.
Absolutely. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that I'm missing here. As far as merchandise, he had the T-shirts. He did offer. He had, I think, these special. I think they were tank top dresses. Okay. They had the same front and back as what the T-shirts did. Obviously, was selling like the ankhs and autograph pictures. He had so many new autograph pictures, or they weren't autographed yet. They were the whatever 8x10s, but there was one KISS and makeup and like all the different stuff. He just had a whole array of different choices. I mean, anything you wanted, anything you were looking for, they would have had it there for you. So again, if you're a fan, and doesn't get any better than this,
Absolutely.
Really. So
absolutely.
Yeah.
Awesome. Anything else you can think about from the party that you want to say? I think it sounds like you covered a lot of it, but I know you said you wrote down like a bunch of notes, even for yourself, just to remember. So I'll let you peek at them.
Yeah.
Anything else that you wanted to tell us?
Let me see here, just real quick.
Yeah.
Really, I think the biggest things. No, man, I think that was
awesome. Well, Jeff, I really appreciate you sharing everything with me today. Like I said, I hope to meet you again, meet you in the future face to face. And
sure.
This was great. Thank you very much.
Yeah, no problem, man. Thank you for your time, and have a great night.
Yep, you too.
Anytime.
Thanks, everybody.
Night.
Alrighty, there you have it. I hope you guys enjoyed hearing those details about the Vinnie Vincent Let Freedom Rock Party as much as I enjoyed hearing about it as well. I'd like to take a moment and once again thank Jeff for joining me and sharing all the information about this great party. As I said during the chat, if you have the opportunity to attend one of Vinnie Vincent's parties in the future, I would strongly encourage it. I think it's a great time, and everybody who's gone seems to agree. I think I could also speak on behalf of all Vinnie Vincent fans where I say that we're very excited to see and hear this DVD that was recorded over the weekend, and we'd certainly look forward to it coming out. As I get more information about that, I'll make sure I share it with everybody as soon as I know anything. If you're watching on YouTube, hit that subscribe button below. If you're listening to one of my podcasts, subscribe over there as well. Also, head on over to Facebook and follow my page, The Rock and Roll Experience with Mike Brunn, where each and every day we talk about all the rock and roll music that you love. That's it for this episode. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. See you next time.